thank you for giving us this opportunity to interview you. We are really excited to learn more about you and your entrepreneurial journey. So we have prepared some questions for you. Shall I ask?
Well, please go ahead.
So can you please tell us something about yourself?
What do I tell about myself? Okay. I'm a distribution professional from Delhi who moved to Bombay about 12 years back. I worked with various FMCG, banking and telecom companies before I took the plunge of becoming an entrepreneur about 10 years back. So it has been a great journey in the last 10 years, and I think we're rocking as a company.
Oh, that's really good. Now can you tell us about your brand Finky?
Yeah, so about 20 years back, I used to work with Standard Chartered Bank, and I think I did well with the bank. So when I started this company about 5 years back, the intention was, so there are a lot of distributors who are selling various financial products. Somebody selling cards, somebody selling insurance. We saw that there was a big opportunity that behind that product was a customer who needed various financial products. But this individual who was selling it to the customer did not have the bandwidth to help him with other products. So that's what we created here at Finky. Finky, the name itself as it suggests, is key to unlocking the wealth. So the customer looking for various other financial products can, through this agent, come back to us and we will help him fulfill all his financial needs. That's what we do.
That's really great. So fintech is transforming the aspect of financial service, right? So what inspired you to join this industry in fintech?
Like I mentioned, 20 years back I used to be, so FMCG, banking, telecom. I worked with all sectors, but I think I was the most successful with the banking sector. And when I wanted to take this plunge into entrepreneurship, I decided to go with the one where I was the most successful. And I think I was also fortunate. I had a lot of bosses who kind of pushed me into thinking differently. And I realized that now, I mean, we were doing a lot of these things 20 years back without technology. Now we could do them much better with the advent of technology coming in. So that was the reason I got into this. I thought I could create something very different. I could create a unicorn which would be talked about, and that's the reason I'm into this space.
Sure, that create something really unique. So how did you secure the funding or the resources to kickstart this company?
Yeah, that's a difficult one. I mean, funding is the most difficult part of the startup journey. I was fortunate having worked for 20 years. I had my own funds to begin with. So that kind of helped us initially. I'm also joined by my co-founder Puneet Lamba, who also put in a decent amount initially. But as any startup, you know, the initial journey is difficult and a lot of money gets utilized. I was not a guy who was very good with raising funds in the past. But fortunately, in the last 7-8 years, I have learned this skill, and I realized that eventually there will be others who will invest in you. So I would have done more than 400 pitches till date. Even before you came in, I was just into a pitch. And we've been able to secure funding. People gradually are getting to know about us, that we're doing something unique. So we raised about $2 million so far, and we're on the verge of raising another $10 million. And I think this journey becomes easier when you know, it's like an aeroplane taking off. A little difficult initially, but when it moves up the sky, it becomes easier and easier. So something similar is happening with us. People are getting to know about us, and more people are interested in funding us.
That's very impressive. So you mentioned that you did face some setbacks regarding funding. So apart from funding, what all setbacks did you face? Like how did you overcome them?
See, funding is not a setback. Funding is a journey. It takes time for people to get to know you. Fortunately, with our experience, people are willing to. And what happened in the last few years is a lot of startups where they were young founders had not done as well. So people started looking at experience as the key for a startup to be successful. So we were lucky in that sense that the people were looking at us and started funding us. More than funding, the other challenge as a startup founder is to attract talent. Because you're a startup and not many people are keen to join you. Because one is they're keen to be with established brands. And secondly, they always think there is a risk joining the startup. So to get to make people believe that we are here to stay. It took a little while, but I think gradually the word of mouth has spread. The processes have been set. People have been here for the last 5 years that we have been here. So they do the talking. They have become brand ambassadors for us. So gradually it is becoming easier. So that was the biggest challenge I faced apart from funding.
Okay. So fintech in general is a very competitive industry, right? So there are many companies who are in this industry. So how do you handle this competition?
So fintech is a very vast
Okay.
area. So there are people who are into payments processing. There are people who are into various other financial sectors, mutual funds, loans. There are people who are only providing technology to, let's say, the insurance brokers. That again is called fintech. So it's a very vast subject.
Yeah.
The area that we are in, which is mainly retail lending through banks
Okay.
and insurance,
Yeah.
there are players who have been here for ages,
Yeah.
but none of them have been able to bring about technology that we brought about. Right? So we have thought a little out of the box. We have put ourselves in the situation of a common man as to what are the challenges he faces, and basis that we have built technology, and that is what is giving us the edge over others. Right? So people have not put themselves in the position of a common man and figured out as to what are the challenges he faces. I think that is what that is where we have an edge over others.
So can you tell us like brief about the technology that you use?
Yes. So one of the things that we are launching is called Q.
Okay.
It's a personal finance manager. As you would know that in India the middle class is huge,
Yeah.
and there isn't any proper advisory services for them to manage their finances, and which is where Q plays a very vital role. What it does is it basically dips into your credit history, which is any of the bureaus that you have, CIBIL, Experian, Equifax, and within 10 seconds it gives you a report with various opportunities for you to reduce your cost of borrowings or reduce your EMIs.
Okay.
Okay, we did a pilot and we got amazing results. I mean, the kind of output it gave us, this could be a big game changer for the middle class in terms of managing their finances. So that's how it is.
No, for sure, will help the middle class people for sure. So, what are your like future aspirations that your company is looking for? Like,
Okay, for me personally, I would want to create a company which can be talked about, which would be the largest in the financial distribution space. And for my team members who have shown trust in me and in the company, I would want them to create enough wealth. So that's how it is.
That's really inspiring. So before we wrap up this interview, any advice that you would like to give the young mindsets who will watch this interview before, like who are trying to start their own startup in the future? So any advice?
So my advice to all the young minds would be that they should take the plunge as early as possible, right? And I think this journey needs a bit of perseverance. Don't give up quickly. If you're certain that you want to make it big,